Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Christine. I'm here with my first wrap-up of 2018. So the first book that I read was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is, of course, the story of a assassin who was jailed, and then she becomes then there's a competition to be the king's assassin, so she becomes the champion for the prince, and yeah, whatever. I mean, you guys pretty much know what this is. Anyway, I listened to the audio book of this first a few years back when this was like really popular, and I kind of liked it. I thought it was very entertaining, but I didn't really pick up this and read it, even though I mean it's the same thing. But whether I decide to maybe sell it, I'm not sure. But I wanted to read it first, like hold it in my hands and like read it. All I can say about this is, as an assassin, she kind of underwhelmed me. I can see like why she would do certain things and understand them, but at the same time, I did feel a tad underwhelmed. Maybe that's because I knew it was gonna happen or something, but that's really all I can say. I just felt slightly underwhelmed. I look forward to maybe watching how this series improves, but that's about it. Now, the next book that I decided to pick up is Al Capone Does My Shirts by Jennifer Chaldenko. This is a historical fiction about a family who moves to Alcatraz because the main character's father receives a job at Alcatraz as a guard and the electrician. So way back when in the 1930s, when people who were in prison in Alcatraz, their guards would and their families had apartment buildings there, and they lived on the island. And their laundry was laundered by the inmates. Having a laundry job was actually considered kind of low, and that was the job that Al Capone had. So whenever like the military would come to San Francisco, they would say Al Capone does my shorts because he was in the laundry at the time. So it became a saying. And one of the most interesting parts about this book is that the main character's sister, let's say Natalie, has autism, or at least displays signs of autism, but not once in the book is it ever said that it's autism, even though the author wrote it that way, who herself had a sister who had a severe case of autism. Autism was actually discovered or named 8 years after this book takes place. So this is a very interesting take on mental illness and the people who have to take care of people with autism and they don't know what's going on. There were lots of behavioral studies or like behavioral schools for autistic children, but in the story, this family was not able to put Natalie into a sort of school for this kind of thing because she was too old, because they would only accept children and children who could be like fixed or something. So it was very interesting, and it's also very touching because I could see the love that the main character had for his sister, but I could also see like the toll it was taking on him. It's a very hard situation really, because you kind of, back then in this time period, everybody wants to be normal, everybody wants to fit in, and then suddenly when you have something that is slightly different, they don't know how to take it. And what was the best part about this, I think, was the fact that it was taken from the perspective of a child, because with children, they don't come with the same kind of baggage that adults have, so they don't have any preconceived like notions or biases. They just see what it is, like comment on it, and then if they're wrong, they can grow from it or learn from it. So I find that to be really interesting, and I found this story to be absolutely beautiful, and like I really recommend anybody should read this. And then I read the sequel, Al Capone Does My Shoes, and I don't really want to elaborate on the plot here, but it's just as good as the first book. So yeah, that's it. After that, I decided to pick up Rick Riordan, Trials of Apollo, The Dark Prophecy. I really actually like how Apollo gets knocked down a peg because he would think of demigods as like cannon fodder, as um, things to just send out to complete the quest. You know, he can very well do it himself, but like as a god, you would just send them out to die. And then it wasn't until this book that he realized, you know, hey, these are actually real people, and you know, it's a waste. It's a waste of human life, and that's all I really can say. And um, the humor, of course, is great. So, yeah, that's about it. And then after that, towards the middle of the month, like, I just got slumpy, and then after that, Ursula K. Le Guin died, and then I was like really sad. So I decided to pick up The Telling by Ursula K. Le Guin, only to find out this is book 8. Because I was wondering how I could only get up to like a few pages, and then I was like, this is really heavy. I can't. I'm not in the mood. Like emotionally, it's not working for me. So and I found out it was book 8, and I'm just like, I think maybe I should collect the first 7 before I read this. So yeah, I had to put this down, but I'll pick it up again soon. Or as soon as I get 7. And then I found The Therithmatist by Brandon Sanderson. So this is my second Sanderson. I actually like this a lot better than Steelheart, because I had like low expectations because it was so hyped, and Steelheart was so hyped, and I didn't like it. It was no, I don't know. I can't really say. I just didn't like it. But with with The Therithmatist though, yes, I really like this. I like the world building. I like the history of the world. I like how you're not overwhelmed by what he's trying to explain. It just happens as you go along, and the development of the main character and how the story progressed. It's just very, very good. And normally when I read a book, I wait until the middle part to like think, oh, it's 3 stars. Or at the beginning, like I could already tell, but with this one, like I wasn't sure. So up to now, I'm still not sure, but I know it's gonna be a good rating. I just haven't decided yet. And the last thing I read was from the Penguin collection. I'm going to be reading 1 short story a month, and that is by William Boyd, called The Dream Lover. And it's pretty much just about this English student who is going to school in Paris, who ends up making friends with this rich American who seems like kind of a he's just like being lazy and doesn't even go to class. And then this rich American finds lodging in this expensive place, and he keeps asking the English student. I'm not even sure if the English student's name is mentioned in the story because I don't recall. But so he keeps asking if this English student knows any French girls, and he keeps saying no, and the girls he does bring are not French, and it never works out until one day he does bring a French girl over to hang out, and that is when the American girlfriend comes to Paris to like be with him because they're in love. And from then on, he just gets upset because he wanted to be with this French girl. The idea of her was more than the actual more desirable than actually the girl. So long story short, the American and his girlfriend have to leave because they ran out of money, and so the English student pays for their tickets to go to another country to get money from like somebody's relative. And he makes up a lie that he and the French girl are actually moving in together when they're not, and it just seems like he just wanted to get something over the American or something. But it was just such an interesting story, and if you read it, like, let me know. Let's discuss in the comments below. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!